Mark, you guys often kind of talk about the method maybe being more important than the result, especially given what you laid out pregame about the last time you were faced with a back-to-back. What did you think of the way that you all handled this one tonight?
I thought we showed growth in that respect. Definitely with the start we got off to. I just thought we started the game with great pace and physicality, which was a huge emphasis coming in. And we set a nice tone there. And then there were, again, a lot of ups and downs in the game. And I thought we drifted from our identity, especially in the third quarter, a little more than we did last night. But we got it back on track. That group to start the fourth quarter did a great job for us. And so those were growth points for us.
Is there, a process for how you all respond to maybe a situation of adversity like you did with that Orlando back-to-back, and then coming here today, do you see how your players are actually like internalizing that and then going out and doing better?
We just try to bring it to their awareness and then bet on them, and obviously they responded great tonight, and that includes in-game. Like I said, I thought we got a little off track tonight, and had a stretch of the game where we weren't who we want to be. And you bring the awareness to the group, and that second group goes in there and really lifts us up, and gets us back on track. And that's what teams do.
It seemed like you guys did that on the defensive end. You had so many just loose balls and takeaways and rebounds and things in that fourth quarter. Would you say?
Those guys, that was a switchable group that was pretty multi-positional. Bays, Wiggins, Cameron Williams, Giddey, and Dub. And so they're all 6'6" basically, and switching, great communication, great help. I think Chicago had 8 points in the first stretch of the fourth, and then Levine got fouled a bunch of times. But when the game opened up, we were doing it with stops and with positioning, and 5 guys connected on that end.
Speaking of Darius, just brought a lot of disruption defensively, also had a pretty strong offensive night. What did you think of what he brought to the game overall?
He obviously played great, and he's a huge part of why we won the game. But I think bigger picture, for him to have kind of the year he's had in terms of being in and out and his role fluctuating, and recently taking a string of DMPs, I just think it's a really powerful signal when somebody like him, who has every reason to sulk or complain with the amount of minutes he's played in the past, just keeps himself ready, waits for his next opportunity, and then goes in there and performs the way he did last night and tonight. He deserves a lot of credit, and it's a powerful signal to the rest of the group. It's a form of leadership, and I admire how he's handled this.
Also, wanted to ask you just about Josh's night, just 25 points from him, and just playing with that physicality, had a couple of and ones. Just is that an encouraging sign for you, and how he's kind of growing in that area?
Yeah, and both ends. I think I've talked early in the season about his need to improve defensively and become a complete player. And he's really taken the challenge there, and for a string of time, not just tonight. He was great last night, and he's been great on that end of the floor for a large stretch of games. And then offensively, he's found a really nice balance. I think a lot of our team has, found a balance on that end of the floor. And he's playing downhill and, creating plays with his passing, and, he's doing good things right now.
Talked a lot about J-Dub's efficiency. He was 10 of 12 tonight, didn't miss inside the arc. Really rare for a rookie, obviously, but what are you seeing that's allowing him to get to those spots and finish as well as he is?
Well, it's a combination of things. He's, first of all, really smart player who has great, he just learns the pictures very quickly for a young guy. Has an efficient shot diet. He doesn't take a ton of bad shots, so when you take good shots, you're more likely to be efficient. And then the stuff around the rim, he's 6'6" with a great wingspan, so there's definitely an athletic and profile element to it. But the thing that I was most impressed with him tonight is I thought in Orlando, on that last back-to-back, coming off the Boston game, he in particular was extremely lethargic. And we challenged him earlier in the day to kind of have a mind over body mentality, and really dive into the game tonight, and he really did that. He played the whole fourth quarter for the most part, played the most minutes on the team, and was just really engaged on both ends and had a lot of pop.
DeRozan out, Levine's probably going to take more shots. It feels pretty good to hold him at just 5 field goals.
A lot of that's Dort, in the floor game. Dort, it wasn't Dort late, it was that group late, but Lou, it's easy for us to take for granted at this point, what he does on that end of the floor, because he does it almost every night, and with guys that are obviously really potent, like Levine, who we have a lot of respect for. So, it was a lot of him, and then a lot of that switching group at the end, doing it with team defense, and, it's hard to do that. We're well aware of that. We have a lot of respect for him.
It seems like your offense is coming together, except for that third quarter. Giddey started off great in the third, and then it kind of tapered off a little bit. But tonight and last night, just offensively in the last couple of games, just really done well.
Yeah, I think we're playing with a lot of rhythm right now. We're playing with a lot of confidence, and I think the best part about it is that the confidence is coming from the group. I think they're feeding off each other, and they're more confident because they're with their teammates and they're out there on the court with their teammates, and that's a powerful form of confidence. It's not just like an internal belief, but it's a confidence that they're sharing with one another, which is what good teams do. But we also have like a long way to go. We have a lot to work on, and there's rhythms in the season where, you're kind of in a rhythm as a team, but you're not going to stay there perpetually. And we've got to have the humility to, get back to work, look at every game, see where we can improve, and not get fat and happy with a couple nice wins.
It looks like Josh and Shea have really made progress of playing off each other and both succeeding when they're out there on the floor together. Do you agree with that? And if so, what are some of those ways that you've seen them improve?
I do agree with it. I think it's, we talked a lot about it last year. It was kind of a narrative last year that we were talking about a lot. And I think what I would say to that is what I said last year is when you've got two guys that really want to get it right, it's less about their games. It's less about the fit. It's more about do the players want to work to get it right? And in this particular case, we have an entire team. It's not just limited to Josh and Shea. That I think guys that want to get it right, and I think that's what you're seeing over time. And I think the other lesson that's worth learning is that it's taken time for our team to do that, and it will continue to take time. Like I just said, it's not. This is a great win. Last night was a great win. But we're a couple days removed from a loss that we felt like we could have won, and there's a lot of ups and downs in the season, and we have to have the humility to understand we have a long way to go if we're looking at improving and being the best team we can be.
Things didn't go the way you wanted them to, but what did you think of the response tonight, especially coming off of a really good win in Philly last night?
Yeah, it was a great response. I think we spoke about that. Obviously, we beat a very good team in Boston by a lot of points, and then went to Orlando, and we're not good for a lot of the game. On a tough back-to-back, but I think tonight we spoke about that. We said we beat a really good team in Philly. We're going to come into Chicago, play another really good team, and we have to be ready from the jump. And I think tonight guys responded really well. We kind of put the Philly game in the back of our minds and moved forward. And I think we took care of the game we got a hold of it from the first quarter. We were good that first half. Third quarter we went on a big run, then they went on a big run. But I think out of three-quarter time we responded really well. And I think, for the most part down the stretch, we executed well. We made Levine play through crowds, take a lot of tough shots. Vucevic got going a little bit, but for the most part, we executed both ends down the floor down the stretch.
Yeah, you talk about the response, and there's response within the game too, with those runs that you were talking about. Just what did you think of the way you guys were able to kind of match their punches throughout the night?
Yeah, that third quarter was, the two big runs. We went up 18, they got it back to, 2-point tied ball game. So I think we did a really good job putting our foot down once we got a 10-point lead, but let up a little bit towards the end of the third. I think we got sloppy with the ball. We had too many turnovers, too many tough shots. And part of that was their offense. They were getting good looks. Vooch was operating out of that mid-post and making plays happen for them. So we did a good job, though, as I said, out of three-quarter time, weathering the storm. The crowd was getting into it, but I think the starting group for that fourth quarter really set the tone for the remainder of the game, and we took care of it from there.
Coach mentioned that he was giving you a lot of credit for your physicality on both ends of the floor, not just offensively. Obviously, you had a couple of and ones tonight, but defensively as well. What's been kind of your focus and mentality on that end of the floor?
Yeah, they've been on me about the defensive end. Offensively, he gives me a lot of freedom to play my game, but defensively, they coach me hard. which I need. It's an area I've got to improve, but just trying to be physical. Understanding that if I'm guarding these non-shooters, guys that are more four spaces connectors, that I have to be in there helping out. Lou, our main defenders, trying to be a body in the paint, helping the bigs out on the glass. So just trying to make my presence felt on that end of the floor. Is going to help Lou, K. Rich, Wiggs, these other guys who are guarding the main guys. Just trying to be a presence there.
Josh, it looks like you and Shea just continue to click and make strides of learning how to play off each other and accentuate each other's games. I know that's something we asked you a ton about last year. Mark mentioned how it was a big narrative. Like moving forward to this year, where do you think that's at now, and what improvements have you seen with that?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, obviously, from last year, we're just getting familiar with each other's games. It was obviously going to be tough from the start. Two, ball-dominant guys coming in, playing together. And those stretches where, it didn't work, it did work. But I think now we've really found, how to play with each other, how to play off the ball, how to play on the ball. So, we have a lot of sets where I'm initiating it, it's getting to Shea. So it's good ways to get both of us involved. And I think we've done a really good job being unselfish, getting off the ball, letting each other. It's not so much taking turns, but, being unselfish and recognizing if one guy's got it going, we're going to go to that and use it. But he's done a great job. Shea could have 40 points every night if he wanted to, but he's unselfish. He gets off the ball. He makes players around him better. So continuing to work with him and build out backcourt, but it's not just about us two. There's three other guys on the floor. So continuing to make players around us better, and the team's heading in the right direction. So I'm happy with how we're going.
Josh, with that in mind, what you mentioned about Shea, it seems like some teams might either get frustrated or sped up when teams double team. It feels like you guys get energized when both opposing teams double. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think he trusts other guys to make plays. A lot of the time, it's late game when they're squeezing him and getting the ball out of his hands. That we've got guys ready to make plays. As I said, with our starting unit, we've got four guards that can handle the ball on the floor. Plus, if it's K. Rich at the 5, it's 5 guys that can dribble the ball. So, there's a lot of guys that are playmakers, and especially late games when they're taking the ball out of his hands, guys have to be ready to have their foot on the gas and be aggressive because it's going to be a 4-on-3. So, we've gotten used to it now that teams are starting to do it more, but it's going to be crucial down the stretch that we execute out of that.
It looked like you were really trying to get Baze involved, and he hasn't played a lot recently. What did you think of what he gave you guys tonight?
He was awesome. He's been a pro. He's had a bunch of DMPs. He's been loud on the bench, been active, been a great teammate. And I think when his number got called in Philly, he was ready from the jump tonight. That second quarter was huge. It gave him confidence. He got going. And he's really disruptive on the defensive end. He gets in lanes. He takes on that challenge of, wanting to guard the team's best player. He was great for us tonight, and I think the more he can bring that energy offensively when he gets downhill, he's athletic, he can finish, he blocks shots. So, he does a lot for us, and I think when he's playing the way he did tonight, brings another dimension to our team and, really takes us to another level.
What does it tell you where you guys are now that they can go on that run they did at the end of the third, and then you just come right back out and turn it into a 10-point game again?
Yeah, I think 12 months ago, if a team goes on a run like that, maybe we crumble a little bit more. Maybe guys go into their shells, but tonight, guys stood up, guys were ready for the challenge, and I think same thing happened in Philly. They went on a run, got back in front, but guys responded well. We didn't shy away from the challenge, and I think same thing tonight. Basketball's a game of runs, that's how it's going to go, but the way the guys responded out of three-quarter time, 2-point game. They were cooking, they had it going, but we executed, we got it done on both ends of the floor, and we didn't flinch when they threw their punch.
You guys are only half a game back of the play-in. Is that something you've talked about at all, or you've sort of tracked yourself?
Yeah, obviously guys are going to look at the standard. We haven't really spoke about it too much. There's still a lot of games to be played, but it's awesome to see the improvement that we've made from where we were this time last year. We're heading in the right direction and, trying to keep, a game-by-game mentality. I'm not looking too far ahead. I'm not dwelling on the past. So we're in a good space right now. We're playing well. 2 big road wins in a row. So hopefully we can keep that momentum going.
That Boston-Orlando one that you had last week, what did you think of just how you all approached this game tonight?
I thought it was really good. Before the game, Coach had showed us a clip from the last back-to-back when we was in Orlando, and he showed us a clip. It was like a good clip defensively of what we did, but that game didn't really go well for us. But he was showing us what we're capable of doing on a back-to-back, and he told us it's like mind over body, this game. So I thought our approach was well going into it, and I thought it showed too. Got off to a really good start. We stuck to our stuff, and I mean, to me, it didn't. Well, I feel like to the team, it didn't really feel like a back-to-back. Like we were just so locked into the moment.
And then, that was a nice response, like, from game to game. What about in-game tonight? Because they hit you with a really big run in
Yeah.
the third quarter. What do you think you all did from an execution standpoint to get the car back on the road?
Yeah, we just had to double down on our stuff. When we're having a really good game like we were having, coming out the half, we were talking at halftime, and, we all just said, like, that team was going to come out, and, throw their best punch now. So we had to be ready for it. And they did that. But like I said, we was able to get the car back on the road with just doing our stuff. Defensively, just being there for the next man, and keying in on certain things, shell, low man, just really having the guy, besides his back.
You talked about the defense. You had 3 steals. Shea had 4. It just seemed like everybody was
Yeah,
hitting
4?
well. Yep. He had 4.
You sure I didn't have 4? He had 3.
Still the stat sheet. So.
No, I'm just.
But it seemed like everyone was getting involved. Just what does that do for you guys when just everybody is, energy-wise, what does that do for you guys when everybody's kind of getting in on those sort of plays?
Good. It's contagious. And stuff like that leads, to fast breaks, and, that is like the fun part of the game, you know what I mean, to just get out and run and just flow. So when you're getting stops like that, and teams aren't even, like, getting a shot off at the rim, like I said, you're just able to get out and run is really good. And it gives a spark to the team. The bench was involved coming out of going into timeouts. Everyone's up. You know what I mean? Like super excited. So it just energizes the whole team.
Mark gave you credit because he said that you had every reason to sulk or complain about not playing in that stretch when you had 4 DNPs, but you didn't do that, and then you were rewarded tonight. Played really well in this back-to-back. How did you sort of handle that time? And you've had a big role in this team in the past. How did you handle kind of not playing for that stretch?
For me, like, it's not about me, and it never will be. I'm always invested in the team. I'm always invested in my teammates. So any way that I was able to help, whether it was on the floor, speaking up in the locker room, speaking up in huddles before coach would come in, helping guys on the side, maybe if they need talking to, whatever it is. But doing that also helps me stay connected within the team. It could be easy to just, be on the bench and just watch the game. But being engaged like that just helps you, and it kind of like keeps you ready so that way when you go back in, it's not like you're having to like plug yourself back in. I've been involved, no matter what. So the biggest thing for me, like I said, is not about me, and that was my mindset the entire time, and it'll continue to stay that way even with me on the floor.
People often think of physicality on defense, but did you feel like your physicality on offense also had an impact tonight? Because you seem to get to the line and put pressure on them at the rim.
Yeah, it definitely works both ways. To be able to put pressure on the defense, get feet in the paint, and regardless if it results in me getting a foul or a shot at the rim, it also creates for my teammates as well, if the opportunity is there. But, yeah, physicality, like I said, is both ways. Defensively, mindset, and then offensively, same thing. Just being able to get downhill and do what you need to do.
And how did it feel to pay Josh back for all his passes with that baseline cut that he made?
Good. I wish I would have seen it earlier so I could have did something like more magic-like, but it's all right. I'm gonna get another chance. It's okay.